Now, finally, school starts in just 2 weeks. In some parts of the state, it's hard to believe, but the recent fires destroyed so many homes for students in Spokane who go back 2 weeks from today. And families in the Indian Trail neighborhood are among the hardest hit. Hundreds of homes burned there when the Old Trolls fire jumped the Spokane River and really consumed those entire neighborhoods back on August the 1st. I'm sure you've seen the destruction. And we've learned now that about 50 kids in one school, Indian Trail Elementary, 50 kids in just that one school lost their homes. I'm guessing some of those are siblings, so it's not necessarily 50 homes and all, but can you imagine? It's going to be very challenging to get those kids back into any sense of normalcy. And yet the school day kind of provides that for a lot of kids who probably really are, struggling after losing their family home. There was a principal at that school who told KXLY she expects the number may be even higher. They have not been able to make contact with all of their families. So, um, just something to keep in mind as the school year begins that a lot of folks there are really, really struggling. And Governor Bob Ferguson has announced a new emergency declaration that's going to help victims and businesses affected by the fires. In all, we're still hearing a figure of 900 plus. I think 913 is the last figure that I heard of, mostly homes that were destroyed in those fires. So we'll be continuing to follow this in the weeks and months ahead, give you opportunities to help. Of course, the Red Cross is always, one of those organizations that really has kind of showed up and gotten right in the middle. Providing long-term shelter for many of these families is going to be, the initial challenge. And then also in Spokane, and my colleague Tim Clauser would be all over this if he wasn't on leave right now following the birth last week of his second child. So he's enjoying some much needed time with his new baby boy. But there is a major shakeup at the Spokesman-Review newspaper with the executive editor there, Rob Curley, who's been in that position for a decade, placed on administrative leave last Friday. There was an article up at the Spokesman Review page today if you'd like to find out further detail. But apparently, something went down in the newsroom last Friday. They're not giving any specifics, but I don't know if this was the culmination of something. But to have the executive editor placed on leave is pretty significant. And there was a vote of no confidence taken on Monday by newsroom employees. And apparently, over 90% of them said, yeah, we think this guy needs to be placed on leave and that we have no confidence in our executive editor. Newsrooms are always full of drama. So who knows everything that's been going on? Some sort of confrontation in the newsroom. There are often heated arguments between reporters and editors. I can attest to that on how a story should be covered. But apparently, this did have something to do with the way that some reporters at the Spokesman Review have been covering the fires in the last couple of weeks. I'm sure there's been a lot of pressure in the newsroom there to be accurate, also tell the very personal stories of the lives impacted. So that's apparently what went down and what led up to this vote of no confidence in the executive editor at the Spokesman. It's going to be interesting to see how this evolves moving forward. Operations continue, they say, as normal. But in case you are a reader, consume their content online or otherwise get the paper, um, you might be interested in following that. So that is it. Today's episode of Washington in Focus Daily for this Wednesday, August the 12th. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. We really do appreciate it. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you again, hopefully, on Thursday.